So I'll ask each of this separately. How early did you know that you were on to something at YouTube or Yelp? Like, when did you know that something was going to happen, or did it take a while?
That's a tough question. I think for me, I was a designer, right? And so I was like so into like sitting in front of my computer and like pushing pixels that I think I was semi-oblivious to the outside world. And so for me, it probably hit a lot later. I think the first time I really realized that people outside of like our friends and like family members were like using YouTube was I was at a music concert and somebody mentioned like putting like what they were filming on YouTube. I overheard them. I was like, oh wow, people know what YouTube is like outside of our friends and family. For me, kind of that was the first moment that I realized it was larger. But for a very long time, like even as we continued to grow and more people knew about it. I remember I would go to parties and they'd be like, oh, what do you do? I'm like, oh, I work at this small startup called YouTube, because in my mind, I didn't think people knew what YouTube was. And so, it really, not until much later did I think, and even after leaving it, and by that point it was very large, did I realize the scope and the influence that YouTube has on people's lives.
Yeah, I mean, similar. I mean, it took us a while. You got to remember, Brian, this was like 2004, 2005 when we were in this incubator. So this was pre-mobile. It was all on the web. And the background was like this, implosion that happened in the first internet boom, where you kind of were cynical even about, especially a company called Yelp, even making it. I kind of was like, I don't know, this, I gotta pay the bill somehow, right? And I think it was probably a year into it. We were launching into maybe 5 or 6 cities. And when I was traveling and helping to launch those cities, we would meet people that were coming to these events, our early days of the Yelp Elite, like our super user program, and they were like, there was a sense like they were part of something that was like seeing a new band before anyone else had done it. And they were coming to these events, and they knew who I was. They knew who Jeremy, who the founder was, but by name, not because they had read about us like in some article, but because they knew us from the site. And they're like, these guys are coming out here, and it was really, really fun. It started making us realize how like these local dots were being connected. And I think that was like the moment when it wasn't just San Francisco, it wasn't just New York City, but me going to places like Chicago, Los Angeles, and Seattle, and seeing like, these groups showing up. It was kind of those early days of magic.